If you are over 60 and have noticed that your glutes feel a bit flatter, weaker, or less firm than before, I want you to pause and listen to this. Don't worry, and certainly don't blame yourself. Almost every week in my clinic, I have patients in their 60s, 70s, and beyond sit right where you are and say to me, "Doctor, I walk every day. I stay active. Why does my lower body feel weaker? Why is it getting harder to stand up from my favorite chair?" The truth is, there is something happening in your body that many people don't realize. You haven't actually lost your glute muscles. You have simply lost your connection to them. Your brain has, in a sense, forgotten how to activate them. This isn't just about how you look in a pair of jeans. A study in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity has shown a direct link between poor glute activation and a higher risk of falls in older adults. When your glutes fall asleep, your body has to compensate. It forces your thighs to take on the full load. It forces your lower back to maintain balance. Today, I'm not going to guide you through a tough, sweat-heavy workout. Instead, I will show you 3 extremely simple movements to wake them up. But first, let's find out whether your glutes are actually working. Don't just watch me. I want you to try this with me right now. It only takes 60 seconds. Test 1. Slow stand-up. Sit on a chair and stand up as slowly as possible. As you rise, pay attention to where you feel the effort. Do you feel your glutes working, or do you feel strong tension in the front of your thighs and knees? If it's in your thighs, that is the first warning sign. Test 2. Flamingo stance. Stand next to a chair or wall for safety and lift one foot off the ground. Hold for 5 seconds. Do you wobble uncontrollably? Do you feel your whole body tensing just to maintain balance? I recently had a 68-year-old patient who walks 3 miles a day, but as soon as he tried this, he almost fell. Not because he was weak, but because his balance system was not functioning properly. Test 3. Muscle squeeze. Lightly place your hands on your glutes. Now try to contract those muscles for 2 seconds, then relax. Do you feel a strong, clear contraction, or does it feel like nothing is happening at all? If you feel stiffness in your knees, if you wobble, or if you can barely feel your glutes activating, listen to this. You are not weak. You are experiencing what we call glute disconnection. Your muscles are still there. They're just asleep. The sensation you just experienced is exactly why so many people over 60 exercise every day but still feel weaker over time. It's not because they aren't trying. It's because their bodies are using the wrong muscle groups. Right now, I'm going to show you how to reset that, starting with the most important step that most people skip.
So, why does this happen, especially as we age? I'll be completely honest with you. It's due to modern lifestyle. First, we sit. We sit a lot. We sit in cars, we sit watching TV. When you sit, your hips are in a flexed position, which constantly stretches and weakens the glute muscles. Over time, the signal from your brain to your glutes gradually weakens, and you may not even notice it. Another thing is that our body is very smart, but also somewhat lazy in its own way. It prefers the easiest path. If your glutes are asleep, your brain will say, "All right, I'll just use the thighs and lower back instead." That's why you can do squats or walk uphill, but only feel pain in your knees and stiffness in your back. You are simply reinforcing incorrect movement patterns every day. Now we need to reset from the beginning. We're not going to lift heavier weights. We're going to train the brain to reconnect with the muscles. So in practice, when I work with my patients, I usually break everything down into 3 very simple steps. Nothing complicated. Just reset, build, and control. The first step is reset. If you don't activate the muscles first, exercise will be completely ineffective. We're going to do the wall hip hinge. Stand about 15 to 20 centimeters away from a wall, with your back facing it. Keep your back straight. Now, instead of bending your knees into a deep squat, push your hips backward until your glutes lightly touch the wall. Hold that position for 1 second, then stand back up, squeezing your glutes as you rise. Imagine you are carrying a large basket of laundry and need to close the door behind you using only your hips. That is exactly the movement you want. The biggest mistake I see here is that people often round their lower back or bend their knees too much, turning the movement into a squat.
If you feel tightness in your lower back, it means you are doing it incorrectly. You should feel a gentle stretch right behind your hips. Try doing it 5 to 8 times, slowly and gently. If you perform this movement correctly, you will feel a difference almost immediately. But this is only the first step. The next step is what truly helps you rebuild strength without putting stress on your knees or lower back.
Now that the muscles are activated, the second step is build, but we will do it without putting any pressure on the joints. This is the supported hip extension exercise. Hold on to the back of a chair or a table. Stand upright, keep your legs straight, and slowly move one leg backward about 10 to 15 centimeters. If you lift too high, you will arch your lower back and completely miss the glutes. Just move your leg back a few inches. You should feel a deep, focused contraction right in the center of your glutes. Perform 8 to 10 repetitions on each side. I had a 70-year-old patient who told me this exercise looked too easy, but 2 weeks later, she said it was the first time in a decade that she actually felt soreness in her glutes. Once you begin to feel your glutes activating again, you will notice something very interesting. Standing up and walking suddenly becomes much easier. But to maintain that stability, especially to prevent falls, you need one more step.
Finally, step 3 is control. This is what helps you stay upright and prevent falls. We will do the standing side leg raise. Remain in a standing position, holding onto a chair. Slowly lift one leg straight out to the side. Hold for 1 second, then lower it. What's the key here? Don't lean your body like a teapot just to lift your leg higher. Keep your body upright. If you have to lean to lift your leg, it means you're going too high. When done correctly, you will feel the engagement in both hips, the hip of the lifting leg and the hip stabilizing on the ground. Aim to lift your leg about 8 to 12 degrees on each side.
Now, let's talk about how to adapt this to your body, because no two 60-year-old bodies are exactly the same. If you have knee pain, make the movements smaller. If you have lower back pain, focus on keeping your core engaged to protect your spine. If you have trouble with balance, hold on with both hands. There are no bonus points for doing this without support. You really don't need to spend an hour on this. Honestly, 8 to 12 minutes is more than enough. If you stay consistent, 3 times a week is already very good. Week 1 is simply about feeling the right muscles. Week 2 is about reducing that unsteadiness. From week 3 onward, you will start to notice that getting out of a car or climbing stairs becomes surprisingly easier. Don't just look in the mirror for changes. Look at how your daily life feels. Less knee pain, less tension in your lower back, easier movement. That is real progress.
I have worked with many people in their 60s, 70s, even into their 80s. And the most important thing I want you to remember from this video is this. Your body is not broken. It has not expired. It has simply been moving in the wrong way for too long. I had a patient, a 74-year-old woman, who recently told me, "Doctor, I don't care about having a perfect body. I just want to stand up without being afraid of falling." And after a few weeks of doing these exercises, she was able to do that. Your body can relearn these movement patterns. You just need patience and to start moving the right way. Try the wall hinge exercise today. Just do the first 5 repetitions and feel the difference. If you found this video helpful, let me know by giving it a like or share it with someone you think may be experiencing the same issue. Subscribe to the channel for more useful health tips, and I'll see you in the next video. Wishing you good health and an active life.